How's it going, guys? I'm one of the admins on this page. My name is Walter Hillegas. Hired SL21213 from the 501st Legion. I was also a member of Saber Guild Empire Temple, the Dark Alliance Stormtrooper Ranch. So as you can tell, got around quite a bit. Stand by for a second. I'll be right back. Well, I guess that's a way to start off a live stream, huh? All right. Well, first off, welcome to my home. And if you can't tell by the beeping and the buzzing on my phone, I have chats going on left and right. So everybody is messaging me. Obviously, a lot of things have got started and jump started. I guess people are going to blame me. They're going to blame me. So, hey, why not, man? I'm ready to fly the flag in the battle. You know, one of my inspirations was, what's his name from Twisted Sister, who went in front of Tipper Gore and, you know, had the whole thing with free speech and all that. I'm not a big fan of Twisted Sister. God forgive me, I forget what his name is. But anyway, the reason why a lot of pages like this are beginning to pop up is because of a story like mine. So I decided that I really wasn't going to stay silent anymore about certain things. And if any of you have been following my personal Facebook page, you can see that my Facebook page has been in an uproar. And the one reason why, forgive my messy hair, I need a haircut, is because I wore this. It's only because I wore this that people started attacking me again. Now, I've been attacked quite a bit on social media over the past 3 years. I mean, it's gone on for a while with other things because, you know, I was a 9/11 recovery worker. I was at the World Trade Center site, and I used to talk about it quite a bit, and people used to attack me about it, you know, back then. And you know, once I joined up with the 501st and Saber Guild Empire Temple and stuff like that, after certain events, people were attacking me again. But recently, people started attacking me because of this, which I provided screen captures and everything like that. And it's pretty sad and sick that people I used to, you know, drive around with and have a good time. We used to drink together and eat together, would all of a sudden turn their backs on me. And accuse me of things. So let me try to start from the beginning. I know this is like a little off the wall here. I joined up with a group called Saber Guild at first. I mean, I was already doing Vader. My Vader was very poor in the beginning, like most costumes are. You know, you build it from scratch. That's the magic of it. And I just started wandering around New York City. I mean, now I currently live in North Carolina, but when I lived in New York, I mean, I used to take my then pretty awful looking eBay Vader and used to do my own thing and go around Times Square, and I had a ball. And then a friend of mine named Valerie Schifino and her husband were like, my son's throwing a birthday party. Would you like to dress up as, you know, my son's having his birthday. Can you come as Vader? And I said, yeah, why not? Sure. And eventually I got into it. Went and did the party and was introduced by a fledgling group called Saber Guild, Empire Saber Guild at that time. And as time went on, eventually I came across the 501st Legion. One of the first major events that I did as far as like my reputation was concerned, one of the first fighting Vaders, was the Brooklyn Cyclones in Brooklyn. and I was up on the TV screens and all that, and you really never saw anybody fight as Vader. And I take full credit for being the first fighting Vader, in one of these cosplay groups. And that's when I met the 501st, really up close and personal for the first time. And that's when I decided I had to become a member. I had to join, and got my Vader going. I was just as enthusiastic as the next fella. Eventually, I got approved, and my first troop was the USS Intrepid, man. It was awesome. I met some cool people there. And I kind of started shying away from Saber Guild, but at the same time, I bounced between both groups, and I got invited to join the Dark Alliance at that time. Stormtrooper Ranch invited me along. But it was a lot of fun, man. I had some good times. I had some really good times with some really good people. But there was an event a couple of years ago that my friend Frank Patz organized, and still does to this day. He's responsible for Eternal Con and WinterCon. And command staff gave me the green light to organize this WinterCon. I took roughly $1,400 to $1,500 of my own money and poured it into this event, because if I'm not mistaken, that would have been the time where The Force Awakens came out. So, he wanted to have a really big showing there. So, being that I had the rapport and reputation that I had, I was very good with the Mandalorian merch at Saber Guild. I mean, Jesus Christ, even Rebel Legion showed up. I mean, even New York Jedi, which everybody knows who if you don't know who New York Jedi is, they got into a lot of trouble for copyright infringement and all that kind of stuff. They weren't really part of our group. Like, our goal was to get all the LFL affiliated groups together, and by that time, Saber Guild really, really climbed the ladder to earn their reputation as well. And all the LFL groups are there. The Droid Builders, I mean, everybody was there, man. Unfortunately, like I said, New York Jedi was there, but I hold no animosity towards those guys. They're Star Wars fans nonetheless. But, I know that thing between the groups, sometimes could really get real sticky. But in New York City, man, and even though people might deny it, I was the one, for the most part, that brought those groups together. And that was like one of maybe a few big showings that I was responsible for. Nobody could ever take that away from me, man. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me see if I can look around here. When Anthony Redforce became CEO of ECG, I was the first one to get one of these. They only started doing the Trooper of the Month program there when Red took over, so you can't take away from my reputation, man. You cannot take away from my reputation. I got videos of myself with Saber Guild performing on, an MCU stadium and doing all sorts of hospital gigs and everything like that, but I was never an arrogant ass about it. I always kept humble. I always treated everybody, on the same level as me. I never really was arrogant about it. If people had personal issues, I was there for them. They needed a ride in my car, I'd drive them all over the place. That was the kind of guy I was. I mean, even my daughter, I welcome anybody to go through my Facebook page, man. Up until this nonsense happened with the mother of my kids, my daughter would call me daddy guy. She grew up with Star Wars because of her old man. I mean, Jesus, now I'm in North Carolina. I mean, there's Star Trek starships there. Sorry, guys. I know you guys, most of you are Star Wars fans. I'm a nerd at heart, man. I might be a sports jock, but I'm always going to be a nerd at heart. And my daughter grew up with Star Wars because of her old man. So, keep that in mind. But anyway, I put together this event. It cost me about $1,500, which really should have went to the mother of my kids. Or to my kids, or to, both. But, I was so dedicated to the cause. I think a lot of you guys know that feeling, man, where, you see everybody in costume, you get riled up, you look around, it's like, man, look at this. You see 20 or 30 guys in clean Ks or sand troopers or you have Vader and walking side by side. I mean, it was epic, man, doing some of these events. And WinterCon was probably the one I was most proud of. The first day of WinterCon went without a hitch. I mean, it was just unlike anything. If you can't hear, I'm still getting PM'd by everybody reaching out. So I did this event Saturday. It was flawless, man. I put out my hat like this, and people were throwing money into the hat. And I didn't troop that day, but I did my thing. I told everybody put money in a hat, and I went out to my local pizzeria. I bought like 15 pizza pies for everybody, and everybody had pizza. The Mandalorian Mercs had pizza. The Legion had pizza. The Droid Builders had pizza. It was amazing. That's the kind of guy I was, man. I threw money into the pot. I mean, we must have, Jesus, man, we feasted on pizza all day, all night. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun, man. But then Sunday came around. The deal was, at the resort casino, that the security guards that were there, they were told, do not touch anything that belongs to Saber Guild. Do not touch anything that belongs to Rebel Legion. Do not touch anything that belongs to the 501st. And certainly don't touch anything that belongs to the Droid Builders. Because, like most of you guys who do serious costuming like myself, I mean, just my Vader bucket alone, it was a rare Vader bucket that I had. Offhand, I can't remember the maker of my particular bucket. It's a couple years, but anyway, I got into a tug of war with one of the security guards because they were instructed to let everybody in the groups spread their stuff out on the floor if they had to. Because you got to realize at that time there was some school shootings going on. I almost want to say that this was the time in Connecticut. There was this really bad school shooting in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a little bit more caution in New York City at that time. So the security guards were instructed, let them take apart their costumes, let them empty out their carry bags. And, I know a lot of you guys got the big Hilti boxes or the big DeWalt boxes and stuff like that, or the big Stanley boxes to lug your costumes around and stuff. And almost everybody had them. I had one too. But this day I decided I had two big gray containers, one for my helmet and one for the costume, and it was on a hand truck. So Saturday went without a hitch. I mean, the security was cool. All the troopers and all the different groups are cool. I mean, it went smooth as silk. But Sunday, Sunday was just awful because it came my time to troop. I went out to my car. You had guys manning the table, and all the guys in each of the groups, everybody was, chit-chatting and everything like that. And I pull my stuff into the casino, and the security guard grabs the box where my bucket is in. And he said, and this is a security guard that wasn't there yesterday. It's some whole new guy. And I guess he wasn't told about how he was supposed to handle our stuff. And I show him, that I have I had a special ID pass, yes, a staff ID, basically, so that this way I can move freely inside the casino because I'm the guy that organized the troop in the first place. And forgive the phone, it's going to have to ring. So I pull my stuff in, and the guard grabs the helmet box, and he says, I got to look in the box. I says, hold on one second. Let me unstrap my costume because I had it tied up on this hand truck and whatnot. And I started taking it apart, and I kind of put my box off to the side, and he goes and he starts reaching into the box. Now, my helmet at that time is a two-piece Vader helmet. It wasn't secured or anything like that. It was just loose in the box, held together with Velcro. And he picks it up, and I see the face mask drop. And I'm like, yo, man, dude, like, hold on. Let me go through my boxes. I will show you my stuff. That helmet that you're touching is about $1,000. It's a $1,000 piece of fiberglass right there. That it had fans, it had electronics in it. I mean, I modified it myself. I mean, but this guy insisted that he goes inside my box and starts an argument with me in front of everybody. And then he got loud with me and got up in my face. And then, of course, I got up in his face. Then he grabs the box and takes it and picks it up. And anybody that has a Vader bucket, anybody that has trooped as Vader knows how heavy those buckets can be. Mine was a mix of fiberglass and cast resin, so it was a little top heavy. And the damn thing falls out about maybe 4 or 5 feet on the ground, lands on the face, breaks the tusks off, and it rolls like a bowling ball. And man, did things just get started from there. And he lost his shit, I lost my shit, and we got into a shouting match and almost into a fist fight because of that. And everybody there watched as this guy, after he was told do not go in the fucking boxes, did it anyway. some of the members of the groups and some members of my home garrison came. Now, because of volunteering at the World Trade Center, I do suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. To those that don't know, I was the first 5 days after the Trade Center, after the Trade Center happened. So, I have to keep things calm for my own health. I suffered a panic attack, a major panic attack, to the point where, I lost complete control, and that gave. I'll get into this other thing later, but suffice it to say, I had a very serious panic attack because of it. And instead of the guys from my garrison offering to take me to the hospital, one of the members of the Northeast Remnant, whose name I'm not going to mention, he's one of the. I have a whole list of cool guys, man, cool dudes that I couldn't even find anything to say. I couldn't even say if a hair was out of place on their head. That this dude was so cool, man. But this particular member of the Northeast Remnant helped me to get my costume off and everything, and put me in a car and drive me to the hospital because they were all worried I was going to have a heart attack and whatnot. And the members of my garrison did nothing at all, except for look and talk. And I could tell something was in the air already. Something was wrong. I actually called our CO, Anthony Palladino, Red Force, to tell him, hey, listen, this thing happened. In all honesty, I want to be clear because before you hear it from somebody else, hear it from the source. And I told him straightforward what happened. It was like, okay, it is what it is. And then, that was it. At least so I thought. Now, while I was having this panic attack, unfortunately, my body completely shut down. I was sweating. I was dehydrated. I was shaking and everything. I had to go to the bathroom. I was nauseous. A couple guys walked me into the bathroom. I lost control of myself in the bathroom, and they're in there laughing and everything. And I'm like, it's not funny. I don't think they really took it seriously. So, so I'm in the hospital all night. The mother of my kids and her father comes and picks me up because my car was still at the casino. And from what I understand, a lot of guys wrapped up everything and left my car up on the top of the parking lot so that this way, I can come pick up my car. So the next day, I was told, I went to go pick up my car. Oh man, I'm getting messaged here left and right, guys. So anyway, I go to pick up, I pick up my car and I get home and everything like that. And the phone rings and I pick it up and I had a feeling who it was. It was going to be Anthony Red Force, Anthony Palladino, the CEO. And I said, I wanted to talk to you about some stuff. And he says, Walt, I don't know how to tell you this. We have to suspend you for 6 months. So I get suspended for 6 months with no real just cause or explanation except for the fact that, the security guard there grabbed my stuff and broke it and started an argument with me. And I came out of my own pocket almost $1,500 to manage this convention. I bought the table runner. I bought the backdrop. I bought the frame for the backdrop. I bought 4 or 5 Nerf guns. I bought all the darts. I bought chairs, a table. I bought table easels to put the 501st Legion signs in for the Blaster Trooper. I bought tape, pens, markers, staples, a stapler. I mean, I bought it all for that just that event alone. Got everybody parking. And I get suspended. And I had like I said, I had a panic attack, and I'm the guy that gets suspended with no real just cause. That nobody stood up for me. Everyone saw what happened, and no one stood up for me. And then I started talking about it. As things went on inside the SLD and with Legion command staff, the more I talked about it, the worse things began to get. I was accused of being an alcoholic. I was accused of being a racist. I was accused of being violent. I was accused of threatening members of my garrison, all of which are not true. If any of you have been on my Facebook page and saw pictures of my kids, the mother of my children is Colombian. Okay? My kids are half white, Well, I mean, I have German roots, but half white, half Colombian. Tell me I'm a racist again? I've never in my life ever threatened any member of any group at any time. And I posted it on my personal Facebook page. Has anybody ever seen me do anything inappropriate at any time, especially with women or anything like that? And 30 people came forward. No, 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 no. Right down this post, right down the line. And even today, because, I'm fighting a battle in court, people are starting to send me character references that they signed on my behalf because that's my reputation. But members of ECG started to throw me under the bus. They started calling me a racist and a bigot and everything else. They were posting rampant shit on my Facebook page, because of the 6 months, because every time I open up my mouth and I start talking about it, I once posted on my Facebook page, I have a box of supplements that I take as replacement therapy for steroids and stuff, because one of the conditions I got diagnosed with at the World Trade Center was pulmonary sarcoidosis, which affects the lungs. So I was taking a lot of medicine at that time, and I was trying to find alternative medicines. And then I started sharing information to share with other people, because my Facebook page has police officers, military veterans, politicians. It's got a whole slew of different types of people on my Facebook page. And with the 9/11 responders on my page, if I have some kind of information that's going to help us, I'm going to share it. But they were, and I can name one of the names. Shane Methel was one of the guys to call me out, to say, boy, those are a lot of vitamins that you're showing off there. It must be really nice to get all that free money and scam the system. And this went on and on and on and on. And then other guys started doing the same shit and started flipping on me. By the time the 6 months were over, things in my relationship were really beginning to deteriorate quite a bit. I didn't want my kids and the mother of my kids to live in New York anymore. We were living in her parents' house. Things got real sour. Somebody along the line within them 6 months or somewhere down the line started posting Craigslist ads on Craigslist of me with stolen photos off my Facebook page soliciting prostitutes. And Maritza got a hold of it. That's the name of the mother of my kids. She still operates under the assumption that I cheated on her because somebody did that out of spite. And you have to realize, being a guy like myself who's out there in the public, as I guess, I hate to use the term celebrity, but, I develop a status. And even now, I've had to go through my Facebook page with all the fake profiles that were created. There were 2 fake profiles, a Craigslist ad, and a supposed member of the 9/11 community that publicly took my photos from Big AppleCon, put it on his Facebook page, and had a bunch of people threaten to put me in the back of their car and beat me and hang me off a tree with ropes and come after my kids. I mean, I had to file a police report. It was disgusting. You have no idea what I went through during that time period. And I really felt backed against the wall. I was feeling alienated and frustrated and everything like that. One night I took it out on the bottle and whatnot and came home. My ex didn't like it. We got into an argument, and unfortunately things got out of hand. And I'm trying to walk past her, and then she takes me and punches me in my face, bites me in the chest, scratches my chest, and she started kicking me, and I took her and I essentially just pushed her up against the wall just to stop her from hitting me. I'm like, Jesus, fucking stop. Then her family got involved and everything like that, and it got ugly, and I walked out. I went out to cool down. I came back. The cops are waiting for me, and they locked me up. Her family told the cops that I tried to hold her down and choke her. That's what happened. So this whole big disaster goes on. I decided to move to North Carolina to get away from all of that stuff. But the animosity towards me continued as members of ECG doxed my information, shared it with everybody, especially recently, going around telling everybody that I abused my kids, I beat up my ex-fiancée, that I choked her, I beat her, I punched her, I kicked her, I raped her, or whatever it may be, which I never did. If you guys haven't been seeing my Facebook pages, I can produce, even right now, I mean, I just put everything away. I have a big portfolio like this of papers for court, which I really can't get into a lot of the paperwork that's there, but I'm having to fight this in court now. But these people actually decided to dox my information and started spreading it amongst the groups, telling everybody that I'm a child abuser, that I neglect my kids. If anybody who knows me personally and knows me from events, man, let me tell you, my daughter was like, up until my son was born, my daughter was, even my son too was everything to me. My kids are everything to me. That. Sorry, trying to contain it. My babies are my life force, man. I never hit my kids. Never, not once. And these people are going around telling everybody I beat up my kids and I raped my ex, that I'm this raging violent alcoholic and everything else. And I disappeared from Facebook after a year. I finally came back because now that certain things are in motion, I have to take the mother of my kids to court to fight this thing. And it's got pretty ugly. And I resurfaced and I started reaching out to people because of some of the accusations that she was making about me, that, I cheated on her at events, that I went to like New York Comic Con to go there and groom women. And I reached out on Facebook and says, hey guys, listen, I can use your help, and if any of you have seen my Facebook page, you'll see the post where I put pictures of us, even with me in a Darth Vader costume, with my kids, with her, and said, when did I ever groom women, touch women, do anything inappropriate with women? And the responses from top to bottom were no. Never professional, always did things the right way. It was never inappropriate, boom, 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 because that was my reputation. It was nothing but a smear campaign going on. And then as time went on, I made this thing, this live stream where I was wearing my hat, and then all of a sudden I see screen captures of my wearing this hat being spread all over the place by members of Empire City Garrison. Again, the same guys from the same crew starting the same shit over again. And I finally had enough. And I decided, it's time to speak up about this because I got tired of the fake profiles. People are creating fake profiles about me. Like I said, some jackass out there made a Craigslist ad with me in it, soliciting profiles, soliciting prostitutes. You have to forgive me. This is a lot. They're going around telling people that I beat my kids, I neglect my kids, I starve my kids. It all came up with the screen captures with the guy. His name is Marek Marecki, which I took screen captures. And members of the 501st that are watching this are like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Like, what the fuck? Just because I wore a Trump hat and wanted to voice my political opinions, this don't mean I'm a racist or a Nazi or anything like that. But guys started attacking me again. The same guys from the same garrison started all over again because they think they have some magical thing to hang over my head in the form of some fucking court paper that nobody took the time to actually sit back and say, man, this guy's going through some unfortunate shit. Maybe we should talk to him about this. But the sad part is, the only reason, there's many reasons why this happened. One, because I spoke up about WinterCon because nobody had my back. Another reason is because I found out that one of the guys in the Sith Lord detachment, known as Jeremy Dale Drew, was a child groomer from Ohio. And I did a live stream similar to what I'm doing right now. And I was told, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't say nothing. Please take the live stream down. We don't want anybody knowing about it. Please hush up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Basically, I was silenced. But even though I was told to be silent, I was still getting abuse at that time. And it's only because of what this guy from ECG did to me, because I wore this. I said, you know what? I'm tired of it, man. I'm so sick of the false accusations that I somehow neglected my kids, I physically attacked my ex-fiance, where basically all I really did was defend myself. Hey man, I'm not going to pretend that I'm an angel. I've done some bad things in my personal life, but there are things that, if you don't ask me directly, then you're basically talking out of your asshole. Okay? Now they're trying to accuse me of having a gun that I tried to shoot myself. I don't even own a gun. I made a live stream about this on my personal page. I don't even own a fucking gun. The only kind of gun that I have is the one that's between my legs and a paintball marker that I keep in my drawer. To target shoot around here sometimes. That's it. I don't own a fucking gun. I don't have a handgun, a rifle, a bazooka, or a minigun, or any of that stupid shit. I don't even have a bow and arrow. And then suddenly I have a gun and I try to shoot myself. Then I go around driving drunk. You know how many times? That's another thing too, that I'm a raging alcoholic and I'm violent. You know how many photos of guys that I have that I've saved from not just Saber Guild but from ECG themselves, that either brew their own beer, that created their own characters, that would show off liquor bottles with their character stickers on them, or guys showing off goblets and glasses and mugs of beer all the time, and me with some of the photos with me standing with them having drinks. So don't even dare try to single me out calling me an alcoholic when there are other people that gladly have taken drinks at any time. They used to say I would drink while in costume. Or I would drink before I get in the costume and do troops, which is not fucking true. This is why I've had to have people reach out to me on social media to vouch for my character. Why I've had to have people create character reference letters for me. I mean, it's sick. And once I spoke up, man, once all of this finally blew up, and I finally spoke up and I said, you know what, I need to talk about this. It opened up a whole can of worms. And if I had anything to hide, I wouldn't be coming out so publicly like this. Other people will not come out publicly like this because they are afraid to come out. And that's why I am speaking up. This is something like what I just made a meme the other day about Eminem from 8 Mile, saying this is he's sticking up his middle finger, and it's like, this is where I drop the mic. So I'm dropping the mic, these past couple days, because I'm not going to let anybody drag me through the mud. It's not happening. As a consequence, I sold off my Vader costume a long time ago, man. I want nothing to do with my Vader. I want nothing to do with it anymore. I'm completely turned off by it. Something that was meant to be an escape, that was meant to raise money for children's hospitals and autism and blindness and cancer. And, I've done Cub Scout events. I mean, I've met so many wonderful people. I've met so many beautiful people, but, the things that occurred in my personal life are now being used against me and being weaponized to further a narrative, not just because some people don't like me because I spilled the beans or became a stool pigeon, but because now of my political stance, suddenly that makes me a horrible, evil person, that somehow that gives people the right to attack me on social media. And I decided enough is enough. Enough is enough. I had enough. So a bunch of us on social media who are either retired or active or quit decided to put together pages like this, or to find a means somehow of communicating with each other, reaching out to one another, and trying to find a solution to the everlasting problem of certain people that have taken this beautiful, wonderful hobby. And you see, I'm still getting the messages. I've taken this beautiful, wonderful hobby and turned it into a political action group, or using it for personal gain, or because, they feel like they have the authority to, because you're not one of them. This elitist, arrogant attitude needs to stop. So there you have it. Full disclosure, everything's out there. So you heard my story. It's up to you to believe it or not believe it. But I have been very vocal about it on my social media page on Facebook. I've been extremely vocal, probably more vocal than what most other people are willing to be, because they're afraid of retribution. A guy like myself who was thoroughly smithed by the mother of my kids. Most men won't admit when a woman hits them, but hey, man, listen, she grabbed me, she punched me, she kicked me, she bit me right. Well, she punched me right in the face and bit me right in my chest, raked my chest, and just kept going and going and going. And all I did was push her off of me and hold her down to stop her from fucking hitting me. And then her family accused me of holding her down and trying to choke her to kill her. So imagine what that feels like for me. That now it's only now that I have to prepare to go to court to fight this. And I have people that reached out. I have character references. I volunteered myself for all sorts of tests. I have letters from PhDs vouching for my personality and my mental health and everything else. It's a fucking nightmare, guys. It's a nightmare. I'm sorry. It's hard. I'm trying to contain it. It's hard. I'm really trying to hold it in. It's a nightmare. I'm a good man. I'm a good father. I think I racked up like 85 troops in a year or something like that. It was like 80 troops or something like that in a year. Most guys are lucky that they get 8 troops in a year, and I did probably like 80. I was all over the place, everywhere and anywhere that you can imagine. I met so many beautiful people. I've been to so many cool places over that time, and all of this happened, and now these people have sought out to destroy me. And it's not fair. So now you know why. Now you know my story. You know why people like me now are beginning to reach out. Will I ever join the Legion again? Probably not. If I ever did buy another Vader costume, I'm going to do it for myself, and that's it. But my love for it has, it's like seeing the person you love behind a sheet of glass that you want to grab him, you want to hug him, you want to touch him, and you can't because there's this wall here. I see it, I look at it, I watch it on TV. If I see Star Wars come on, I turn it off. If I hear the music, I shut it off. If I see advertisements, I try to look away. I lost my love for it. So well, that's where I stand, guys. I hope you don't ever end up like me. And the love and caring support that I have right now, and you've been hearing it the whole time I'm sitting here. I got a dozen, probably 2 dozen, 3 dozen messages to go through on my messenger of people that are like me. What happened in my personal life with the mother of my kids and myself is just it's heartbreaking enough. But now that you have people that are out there that are using that to weaponize my family and my reputation against me, and now I'm being forced to defend that is like it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I hope none of you ever have to be like me. I don't ever want any of you to be like me. But I am proud that people are trusting me to bring these issues to the forefront, to discuss these issues. I have a right to be angry. I have a right to be mad. I have a right to be disappointed. I have a right to feel alone in all of it. But everybody's been coming out left and right. And you guys have been hearing the phone go beep, 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 bing, 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 bing. That's people reaching out. That's people telling their stories. I'm blessed in that way. But it's come at a great cost. And I intend to fight it. And I'm going to fight it. I'm not going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to be silent. And I won't be silenced. Just because I wore a hat doesn't make me a bad person. So, well, there you have it. This is a very tough stream to make, especially talking about my little angels. But, don't end up like me. You don't want to end up like me. Don't be like me. Don't let these fucking sons of bitches take a wonderful, beautiful hobby, something that was meant to be fun and to do some good, and turn it into a political weapon, or a forum to tear people's lives apart. So after saying all of this, guys, I hope you heard my story. I hope it sank in. Coming out like this is very, very hard because, when you're in the public's eye, you're open up to, the court of public opinion. So I leave it up to you guys to decide, what you think. If you guys have seen my personal Facebook page, and you see like every day, I've been able to create checks and balances against a lot of the accusations by some of these people by dropping names, and people are coming forward now and saying, hey, Walt, you know what they're saying is bullshit about you. And everybody reaching out, everybody's been cool, man, and I am honored. I am so honored by everybody that's been coming out in my defense. I don't know what to say, except that, I'm just an average nobody, man. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of this. I just wanted to have a good time, and just over these past 3 years have just been I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a nightmare. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. I know there was a lot in there, but I wanted to make sure that the door was open, that there's full transparency, that there's no lies, no deceptions, and that I leave it up to you to judge. But unlike others, I'm not going to unless they do it to me, I am going to retaliate. And they did it to me again, and now I decided to retaliate in a way that they're going to have to defend themselves now. And we've started a movement here, and I hope it grows. I hope it resonates. So, and as you can hear, I'm still getting PMs and messages and stuff like that. So let me let you guys go. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my story. I hope anybody that finds this and sees this, the door is open. Thank you once again, and just don't live in fear. But at the same time, don't be me. You don't want to be me right now. I mean, to have to go through this, it's not good being me. You don't want it. I know it's hard I know it's hard to speak up, man, but you don't want to be me. So, good night, guys, and have a good weekend. And stay strong.